Hello everyone. So today we will be talking about call stack and JavaScript execution context. Basically how JavaScript works behind the scene. So call stack is a mechanism for an interpreter like JavaScript interpreter to keep track of its place in a script that calls multiple functions, what function is currently being run and what functions are called from within that function. So basically what happens is let's go here. Firstly, I would like to give a huge shout out to freecodecamp and Victor Ikechukwu. Sorry about the pronunciation, I might be wrong, but yeah, Victor Ikechukwu, thank you very much for this article, and I think it's a really good article. Let's have a read from here and get an understanding of what's happening. So we have global execution context, and then there is function execution context. So basically call stack is a stack where it is maintained, like which function is now being executed or which function will be executed. Let's go to the bottom and have a look at the call stack. So call stack or execution stack, they're basically the same thing. So firstly, when we don't have any functions at all, we haven't called any functions yet. So let's have a look at this code. So here we did not run any function, did not invoke any function, right? Even then, if we run this code, the code would have to create a global execution context, and then it would just uh, stop the code, like, because there is no code here, all of this is comment, and the JavaScript engine ignores the comments, of course. So then we have our global execution context and then it is over. But if there is a function call, so let's say like this, we have a first function and then we execute the function. So this is a function declaration. So let's say function first, and then we declare to make a log like hello. So this is a function declaration. This is not a function invocation or function call. This is a function call. So when we do a function name like first here and then do first parenthesis, so this is how we call a function or invoke a function. So when this is done or it is invoked, then we put the function right here. So let's say what will happen in this code. So here the engine will come and see all these codes and comments, and it will just ignore it, and then see this and do memory allocation for this. So let's go above, it is a bit far. So basically we do some memory allocation here, function declarations. Okay, so we do have a creation phase and the execution phase. So firstly, we do creation of variable, this keyword or function. All of this is not executed, sorry, I mean created, and these are given a space, these are given a separate space, and it is then kept there, and then we come to the execution phase, where we put this function call to this call stack right here. As you can see, we have first function called here and then it is just put in here, and then we have second function call here. Let's name this second. Let's also create a function second, then log hello second. So basically when we do a second function call right here, we put the second function call in the execution stack or the call stack, and then we also have a third. Let's do a third function and do a hello third. Okay, so as you can see, we have all these functions. Now what will happen, the code will be executed. Let's call in the third function as well. Oh, we misspelled the name here, my bad. Oh, Okay, so now what will happen is the first function will be the first, I mean the last one that came in. Like we did first function, we put the first function in here, and then we put the second function in here, and then we put the third function in here. But it will work as first in last out. So basically whichever function came in first, so let's say the first function, it will go out at last. Let's go ahead and have a look. And as you can see, the third function is executed at first, and it is now removed. So when this function is executed, what just happened, it says hello third, and then the third one is gone from here. And then we have second, first, and global execution context. And then we run the second function or execute the second function, and then we remove that from here as well. So we have left with first and global execution context, and afterwards we do execute the first one, the first function from here, and then we are left with only global execution context. And as you can see, it says, and lastly, when the execution of the entire code gets completed, the JS engine removes the global execution context from the current call stack as well. So basically what happens is it works as first in last out. So whichever one goes in the call stack first will go out at last. So at first, as I've talked about this, if there is no code here, let's say all of this is comment. So at first the global execution context will still be created, although there is no code. Let's say there is no JavaScript code to run from this script.js file, but the global execution context will still be created, and then it will see, okay, there's nothing to run here, so I should just remove the global execution context as well. But if there is function like this, first, second, third, so whichever function is called first will get in first. So this one is called first, first function will get in, and then we'll do a second function get in, and then we'll do a third function get in as well. And then the third function will be executed first, then the second one, then the first one. Let's see, what did we miss? I feel like we are missing something here. Yeah, so what we are missing is the function was not supposed to be like this, but be like this. So let's copy this code and put it here. Let's comment this one out. This was just to show you an example. Okay, so this is not how exactly I have mentioned it should work, but it is rather we are saying that we are calling the first function, which is also calling the second function, and which is also calling the second function is calling the third function. So that's why they were getting in like this, first and then second and then third. But if it were like this, it would just execute the first one, then the second one, and the third one. Let's see the results as well to clarify this. So let's go to the console here and remove the debugger, let's say. Okay, we're having some, oh okay, the server is not on. Open with live server. Let's see what happens. As we can see, hello, hello second, and hello third. Let's add hello first here as well. So as you can see, we have called the first function first, so we are getting hello first. So what happens is this part is creation phase or the memory allocation phase. So this part is just a function is taken into consideration. Okay, we have a function like first, you can call this. But if we do a first here when the first is not assigned even, I think it will work because of the hosting thing. Yeah, it will work, I know. But if we do an arrow function, let's do const first and then do this. Oh my bad. And now as you can see, it says cannot access first before initialization because of hosting. We will be talking about hosting in our upcoming videos, but let's not go there. Let's just keep in mind that what's happening here is we haven't mentioned the function yet, but we are calling to trying to call it above the declaration part. but we can do it here because of hoisting, as I've mentioned, because whenever there is function and var keyword or variable, like if I do var, it is hoisted. We will be talking about this in our next video. Let's not go there. Let's try to keep in our execution context or call stack rather. So what's happening here, we are doing how the function will be working here is we'd put on the first function and it will be executed instantly, and then it will be popped off. Let's try to have a look in our real call stack. This is our call stack. Let's try to stop it right here. This is a debugger. Let's go for it. And yes, as you can see, we have stopped it. We have a first function here, so we are executing it. And let's check the console. We have nothing yet because the code is just being executed now. So let's try to go one step further. And now, yes, now as you can see, we have moved our code to, we are now in the second function call. So the colorful thing you can see here is the indicator that now we are in this second function call right now, and we have already executed this. So as you can see in our console, we can see hello first already, because this part of the code is already executed and we can see hello first now. But now we are in the second function call, and let's try to go one step forward as well. And now we have moved one step forward, and we can see hello second as well. And we can see that we are now in the third function call line, and we don't have the hello third yet. But if I do one step further, and as you can see, hello third is there as well. Now we can just end the thing as well. As you've seen, the call stack had some function as well, but the global execution context is not visible here for some reason. I'm not sure why, but yeah. So basically, let's have a go at the free code camps example to understand this, why that happened there. So let's go ahead and see. We are stopping at Victor. Okay, let's try to have a better understanding now what's happening. So we have a var name Victor, or a variable name Victor, name equal to Victor. Okay, and then we do the first function declaration. This is just declaration. This will not be executed, this will not be executed, this will not be executed as well. So, and then whenever we do a function invocation like this parenthesis, only then we do a function invocation, and only then the code is, or the function is pushed to the call stack or execution stack, and then we run that part of the function. Otherwise we just declare it. As we've read above, we have a creation phase and we have a execution phase. So this part is only the creation part. So we are just all this the name as well. So here we are just doing a creation of these. We're allocating memories for this, and then when this function is called, we have a global execution context like this. And then when we invoke this, we put in the first execution context, first function in here. And then when we start to run the code, we see a equal to high, and then we see another function invocation. Okay, so then what we do is we create another function invocation and we push the second function in the call stack as well. And then we see that, okay, where be hey, and then we see the third function invocation as well, and then we put the third one inside as well. So we move to the third function. So basically the call stack is just indicating which part of the code we are in. So above at the top we have the third function, so we are into the third function, and then we do execute this. So just see, okay, where see hello, so there will be a creation phase here as well. And then we'd log out the name of C hello, and name is Victor, of course. So we should see, let's just move to the console and ignore it. and we should see hello Victor first, because the third one is executed first. As we've seen here, the third one will be gone after hello Victor, and then we'd go back to this second function and we log out hey, and then the name Victor, hey Victor. As you can see, we have hey Victor, and then we go back to the first function, this line, and we log out hi Victor, hi Victor. So let's try to stop the code once again to have a better understanding. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a call stack with anonymous. We are naming name to Victor, and then we jump onto the next line. As you can see, all of this is just ignored, not ignored exactly, but we're just creating some stuff here, right? And then we move to the execution context of this, and let's do this. Okay, I might have missed it actually. I should have put a debugger elsewhere, my bad. So let's go for a debugger right here, not there. Let's do a reload, and we do a first call. Okay, now we are stopped here, and then let's go one step further, and now as you can see, the call stack anonymous. So anonymous, this part is the first function call. As you can see, first is here, as we've talked about previously. So what happens is we have a global execution context and empty, and then we should have the first one here. As you can see, first is here, and then if we do one step further, we go to log out the name. Okay, so I understand what's happened. So what happened is I went past all these function calls and just stopped only at this function. So let's add a debugger to here as well, and let's reload. The first one is called, as you can see, hi, and then what we do is call the second one, and as you can see, we are stopping for hey as well. Nothing is logged yet, as you can see. Let's go one step further, and as you can see, we have the first one here, first function, and then the second function, and then go one step further, and there's third as well, as I've said previously. So as they have mentioned here as well, so we'd get first, and then second, and then third. So one after another function is coming here, and if we do one step now, as you can see, nothing is in the console yet. So if I go one step further, we would see, so the third one will be executed first because this one came in last. So last in first out, or first in last out. Okay, so basically third one will be executed now, and we would see in the console that it says hello, because C is hello and the name will be Victor. Let's go. As you can see, console log is the line where which is getting executed. Let's go, and this is now executed, and as you can see, it is popped off the call stack. So it is removed from the call stack, and we see hello Victor. Okay, so we are now in the second function now. Let's go and execute this one as well. Okay, so this one is executed as well, and as you can see, the call stack, the second one is not here anymore. And as you can see, we have hey Victor, and let's go ahead and move one step further and execute the first one. And as you can see, we have hi Victor. Let's move one step further, and as you can see, this is some internal live server thing. So let's move one step further, and script will be ended now. And as you can see, it is ended, and the call stack is not done yet because it is doing some internal things, socket.on message. And let's, as you can see, when it is done, the global execution context is gone as well, as just as they said it would. Okay, so basically what happens is every time we try to run a JavaScript code or script JavaScript code, a global execution context will be created at first, and then every time there's a function invocation, there will be a push of that function to the call stack, and then it will be executed line by line, and then it will be removed from the call stack. And if there is a function inside of a function, there will be another function call above that previous function call. So as we've seen that the first one is executed, and inside the first function we see a second function call or the function invocation, and then we see second is here as well, and then we see third is here as well, because the third one is being called inside the second function. And then what happens is third has no more functions to call, so it just executes line by line. So we go to this line and we see var c equal to hello, okay, and then we see console log c, and then we just log out hello Victor, and then we move back to here, right here. So this one is done, and we move back to just here, and then we do hey Victor, and then we move to this function, and we continue from just here. After this function is executed, we do a hi Victor in the third line, as you can see. Okay, so that's how uh, JavaScript execution context or call stack works behind the scene. And there are still some more things to see, as you might see below. Okay, he hasn't mentioned here, I think. Okay, so we do have event loop and some other micro task queue manager as well, so we should be able to talk about it in our upcoming videos. And there's a whole lot more to learn, to be honest. JavaScript is huge, as you guys know. So I really hope you guys understood how the execution stack works. So I haven't talked about the creation phase. Let's go ahead and talk about it a bit as well. So this contains of scope chain and scope and other stuff as well, which we will be talking about in our upcoming videos. For now, let's just focus on the call stack only, or the execution context. So basically there is a creation phase and there is an execution phase. So for these, let's say we don't call the function, we have this, we will just go through the creation phase, and in the execution phase there's nothing to do. So with then in our creation phase, what happens? In the creation phase, the execution context is first associated with an execution context object, and the execution context object stores a lot of important data which the code in execution context uses during its runtime. Okay, so what happens? We do a variable object, we create variables, and then creation of the scope chain, and then we do settings of the this keyword. This keyword is a bit tricky as well and deserves a separate video as well. So let's go for this. It's huge actually. It's a lot of topics in here to learn. I'll just bookmark this, you should as well, and we will be talking about this in future. So let's get this straight. So in our creation phase, we just uh, register. Let's say we take a note that okay, there's something called first, and we can call first later on. That's about it about call stack. I really hope you guys understood what's going on. We will be talking about these scope and scope chains and the other things we have encountered, like this and a whole lot more. But for now, let's try to explore the call stack and debuggers. As you might, let's go for it one more time. We have uh, attached 3 debuggers here, and if we do a reload, it will be stopped here. And then if we go one step further, we go directly to this first function call, because these are all just declaration or just creation phase. Like we are just assigning variables to these and assigning the function to this, and then we are executing the function, or we are into the execution phase, as we have said here. It's a really long blog. Okay, so execution phase, and then we enter into this function, and as you can see, the first function is now in the call stack, and there's this global execution context, or the global function, let's say. And then we have assigned variable a hi. Okay, and then we go for the second function call, and now the second one will be put here as well, as we know. And then we see, okay, be hey. Okay, and then we go into the third function. So it is nested functions, one into another. That's why we're seeing all three functions here. And see hello, let's execute one by one. As you can see, nothing is in the console log yet, and we have all three functions here. And if we move the next line, as you can see, console log fine is now line is now done, and we have hello Victor already. And let's move one step further. We go back because this function is done, and now we continue from where we left. So third function is now executed, and now we are into the console log of b name, or hey name. And now we don't see hey Victor yet, but if we move one step further, we see hey Victor. And now this will move to here because that's where we left off, right? And as you can see, we executed this and we moved to console log of hi Victor, and this is not visible yet. But if we move one step forward, so this is the sign for one step forward, and this is for the whole code to be run, right? So one step forward and we see hi Victor, and then the code is moved here because the first function is now done, and we move to the next line and nothing is there. So now live server does his internal some things. We still have the global execution context, and now as you can see, it is now removed after everything is done. Okay, so it is a bit complex at first, but if you go through it a few times, it will become easier slowly, for sure. So let's go for comment this one out, and let's go and see this part, how this one works. So this is a whole different code, and let's go for three debuggers here, here, and here. And let's see how this one works out, right? As you can see, we are in the first function because all three functions are called serially. And as you can see, we are here in the first function because it is already being called here, and we have hello first, and in log we have nothing. So let's move one step forward, and hello first is executed, and we see hello first. Okay, then we move one step forward and we go to here because the second function will be called now, and now it is being called. And as you can see, second is in the call stack, and this line is being executed. And as you can see, we see that second hello second, and then we move to the third function. And if we do a console log, as you can see, call stack the third. And if we move one step forward and then do this, we see hello third as well. And then some internal things, let's just get it over with, and we see call stack, nothing is there, global execution context is not there. Okay, so that's a brief overview of the call stack and how everything works. So there's a creation phase and there's execution phase, and that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel, and I have actually created a Facebook group. If you want to learn web development with us, feel free to join there. I will give the link down below in the description, and I'd be happy to help if you have any issues understanding any of this. And you can knock me on Facebook as well, or comment down below, and I'd be happy to help. Yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.